Good morning, I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped to a record on Wednesday as the Federal Reserve signalled it would cut rates several times next year, satisfying investors who hoped the central bank would finally start to acknowledge the slowing trend of inflation with a less aggressive monetary stance. Overall, the 30-stock Dow added 1.4%. At its high of the day, the Dow surpassed 37,000 for the first time and exceeded its previous all-time high set in January 2022. The S&P 500 jumped 1.37%, crossing 4,700 for the first time since January 2022, while the Nasdaq Composite climbed 1.38%. All three major averages hit fresh 52-week highs. The central bank held the benchmark overnight borrowing rate steady in the 5.25% to 5.5% range as expected, but more importantly, forecast 3 rate cuts in 2024, which was more than it had previously indicated. Investors have been increasingly hoping for the Fed to give a clearer signal that it would start cutting rates next year with recent inflation data easing. The Dow retreated from previous record levels in early 2022 as the Fed embarked on its policy tightening campaign to fend off inflation. Last year, the 30-stock benchmark dropped 8.8%, its biggest annual decline since 2008. Since the start of the fourth quarter, however, the Dow has surged more than 10% as hope of easier policy grew. The 10-year Treasury yield, a benchmark for mortgage rates and other loans, dropped to 4.03% following the Fed's rate forecast released, the lowest level since August. Shares of Bank of America and Wells Fargo banks that stand to benefit if the Fed orchestrates a so-called soft landing jumped 4% and nearly 3% on Wednesday, respectively. Home Depot, whose sales could be boosted by a revival in the housing market, gained 3%. Turning to commodities, oil prices increased due to a significant withdrawal of 4.3 million barrels from US crude inventories, surpassing expectations, and in response to the Federal Reserve's announcement of planned rate cuts in 2024. Brent crude rose $1.02, while the US West Texas Intermediate crude gained 86 cents. The Federal Reserve's decision to hold rates steady and signal 3 rate cuts in 2024 alleviated concerns about higher interest rates affecting oil demand and prices. Turning to US sectors now, all sectors closed higher overnight following the Fed's decision. Interest rate sensitive real estate closed higher by 3.58%. Utilities was the best performer, whilst communication services recorded the fewest gains. Looking ahead to the Australian landscape, the SPI futures are pointing to a 1.1% rise. Thank you for listening.